So, James, we've got a massive weekend ahead across the world in terms of big derby matches and top of the table clashes. Let's start with the Eredivisie. Ajax taking on PSV. It's a top of the table clash. Who are you going to be looking out for this weekend? How do you think the game will go?
Well, I'm a massive fan of Ajax at the moment. They look absolutely stunning in midweek against Borussia Dortmund, winning that game. Still 100% record in the Champions League as well. And in Eredivisie, they're absolutely smashing it as well, as you just said. 7 wins out of their 9 so far. And the squad, it's just like, it's really nice. I love the mix between the experience and the youth. Really exciting players like Anthony in there. Gravenberch is a great midfielder who's only going to get better. And you can see a lot of these guys getting cherry-picked at some point. But one man who's been there for a long, long time, I do love watching, Dusan Tadic. I think when it comes to those big games as well, he's such a leader for the football club over the last few years. And if you think of that, go back to that great side that got to the Champions League semi-final, should have really got to the final. And he's still a big, big part of that. Daley Blind scored in midweek as well. And Sebastian Haller, who's gone from West Ham to Ajax and is playing in a team that totally suits him. I think he scored 8 goals so far this season. He's been their star man, really. So there's loads of players to keep an eye out for Ajax. But this won't be an easy game, will it? There's a PSV player that you've got your eye on, haven't you?
Yeah, Noni Madueke, of course, a young England player in the under-21s. So exciting in the Super Cup against Ajax right at the start of the season. Scored a couple of goals, was exhilarating. PSV won that 4-0. But they haven't really shown any sort of glimpse that they're going to do that this season to Ajax. Only 4 wins out of their last 8 games as well. I know this is a massive one for the fans. I'd love to see him do well. I know Mario Götze has been playing well as well, but I don't really see how Ajax lose this game in their current form, especially with the form of Haller in the penalty box, like you mentioned as well. So I think Ajax will just edge it. I'm going 2-1. What about you?
Yeah, I agree with you. I think it could be a 2-0 victory for Ajax in that one, especially playing at home. So many big games, so we've got to keep moving. Let's go to Serie A. 2 huge games. Let's kick off with Roma versus Napoli. And Roma go into this game having had a good start initially, but after a bizarre loss, a 6-1 loss to Bodo Glimt in the European Conference League, they now take on a Napoli side that are absolutely flying right now. Are the wheels falling off for Jose already here, Hugh?
Not yet. I don't think just yet. They're not playing as well as maybe they want. 4 wins in their last 7 games for Roma, having started the season really well. They're still in the top 4, of course. And look, if they get into a Champions League spot, I think that would be good for them. They're in the Europa Conference League. I mean, you know what I mean? I think if he can hold on to a top 4 spot, we would all say he's done absolutely brilliantly. Their first choice team was rested, so that's a good thing going into this weekend, of course. Napoli have been really good in the Europa League so far. You've got to have your eyes on Victor Osimhen. I mean, he's just been remarkable so far. 9 goals in 10 games for the Nigerian. But Napoli playing so well at the top of the league right now. I think they're going to be the team to beat in Italy this year. They've just got the right mold, the players that have been at the club for long enough, knocking on the door year after year, not the end to the season they wanted last year. They've started like a house on fire this term. I think they're going to keep it going this weekend as well, because I just think the mood in the Roma camp will be totally drained, not just by the results against Bodo Glimt, but also by Jose Mourinho's comments. I mean, you can't call out half the squad and then say, yeah, we've got a huge game against top of the table at the weekend and think training's going to be good going into that. There's going to be a lot of heads that are down in the corridors of the Roma training complex over the next couple of days.
He does like to stick with that tactic. I'm not sure, it just doesn't seem to work for it. So with that game, you see Napoli winning that one. I agree with you. They've only conceded 3 goals all season. I think they will continue in that vein, and Roma are conceding. So I expect them to win that one. The top 4 places for Serie A, it's fascinating because you've got Juventus, and Juventus are away at Inter Milan at the San Siro this weekend as well. The other huge game. And it's very difficult to pick who will be the top 4 by the end of the season. It's cracking to see that in Serie A. When it comes to Inter Milan versus Juventus, who are the key men, the ones to watch for you?
Honestly, I looked at the link up between Ivan Perisic and Edin Dzeko in the Champions League this week. Sort of Perisic playing as a second striker, a foil to Edin Dzeko. And actually, I thought they worked really well together. Of course, they're well-established, experienced players. Maybe that nous is going to be key to a little bit of a resurgence for Inter Milan. They're up to 3rd, only 2 wins in the last 5 for them, though. And I do think there is more to give in this squad. I loved Barella as well, Nicolo Barella, making those runs that we've seen him do before, late into the box. I think he's going to be a threat as well for Inter Milan. Juventus is an interesting one. Right? They've turned things around. I think they needed a penalty save last weekend to guarantee the win. A 1-0 win, 4 wins in a row, by the way, a scoreline of 1-0 for Juventus.
Yeah.
So clean sheets will be key for them. Can they stop Inter Milan? I think there's a good chance it's going to be a very tight game because of that. 1 goal to decide it either way. I'm not sure necessarily 1-0, might be 2-1 as well. I favour Inter Milan just slightly. Being at home in the San Siro, I think might make a difference. So I think they're going to edge it. How do you see it going?
I feel this feels like a draw. It really does feel like a draw to me. I think you're right. With all those 1-0 victories, it's so interesting. You kind of think, oh, wow, they're on a great run. Then you look at the goal scorers, it's 2-2, 1-1. The goals aren't flying in at all. So I think this will be a low-scoring draw, personally, because that Juventus backline is very, very strong and getting stronger by the game, for me personally. And final move, we take a little trip now to Ligue 1. Marseille against PSG. PSG with a really strong win in midweek. It was a cracker of a game against Leipzig. Is it starting to gel a little bit more when it comes to those front three, Mbappe and Messi linking up pretty nicely in that one?
It's strange, right? They're starting to gel in terms of chance creation, not necessarily putting the ball in the back of the net as much as we would expect, particularly in Liga. A lot of their recent games, they've scored 2 or 1 or haven't scored in the defeat against Rennes. Okay, they've scored 3 in midweek, but they haven't set the place on fire in terms of goal scoring. And if you look back at the games that they haven't won, I look back at the game against Rennes where they didn't score. It was all their own doing. PSG aren't going to win a game in Liga. It's going to be down to their own wastefulness. They had 68% possession. They had, I think, 13 shots at goal, none on target. They need to have a really off day, I think, to be beaten by Marseille. I know it's a huge game for the fans. The atmosphere will be absolutely incredible. The first time Messi is going to play in that atmosphere in Liga for Paris Saint-Germain. He'll get to know exactly what the sentiment is, I'm sure. But the way that Kylian Mbappe is playing right now, I think he's going to be key to this game. He looks virtually unstoppable at the moment, and I think he's really taken on the mantle for Paris Saint-Germain. 10 points, by the way, between first and third. I know Marseille have a game in hand, but I think already at this stage of the season, you can see there's a golfing quality between them. Can't see anything other than a Paris Saint-Germain win. Probably 2-0, 2-1 again.
Totally agree. Totally. You've got the magic of Dimitri Payet that could unleash itself at any time. But overall, you're right. There's a massive, massive gulf there. And I'd be surprised if PSG don't go on to win this one as well. I see them winning it, maybe another 2-0, but I do think it'll be pretty simple for them.
Thanks so much for watching ESPN on YouTube. And for more sports highlights and analysis, be sure to download the ESPN app. And for premium content and live streaming, subscribe to ESPN Plus.